Project Healing Waters has created a fun, motivational, and therapeutic fly fishing program for wounded and injured servicemen and veterans. The group teaches weekly classes in fly tying and rod building at over 100 programs across the country that establish a strong foundation of skills and knowledge, as well as provide emotional and physical therapy benefits that last a lifetime.
I say that Project Healing Waters did a lot for me, but in all reality, teaching me how to fly fish, it honestly opened my eyes to learn how to adapt other ways to do things that I did before. So I mean, like, I learned how to use my mouth or to use one hand instead of two hands fishing, and then from that, I learned how to tie my shoes. From that, I learned how to do everything else that I had to learn over again.
Well, my left hand was paralyzed for a little over a year, and as my function in my hand started coming back, I had to learn how to use what mobility my hand had left. So being able to, whether it's tying flies on my line or actually tying flies on a vise, being able to compensate and overcome, some of the difficulties that go along with that. And yeah, it's difficult, but the sense of accomplishment you get after you're doing that is pretty awesome, and kind of helps you move forward. And well, if I can do this, I can definitely do other things in my life that I can overcome.
In 2005, retired Navy captain and fly fisherman Ed Nicholson and retired Army Chief John Colburn, an avid fly tyer himself, approached head of occupational therapy at Walter Reed, Colonel Bill Howard, about starting a program at the hospital.
Colonel Howard at the time was running the occupational therapy clinic there at Walter Reed. I got introduced, come to find out he liked to fly fish, and immediately grasped the possibilities much beyond what I was thinking about, and opened up a whole different perspective for me of using fly fishing in all its many forms as therapy.
I admit wholeheartedly that I looked at the fly fishing, particularly the tie flying, as well as the fishing aspect, as a mastery task for our amputee patients. Now, we all know that it wasn't just about the amputees, because that's an important piece. The patients who we take care of have more injuries other than just amputations. But very specifically, it's a mastery task for them to use their terminal devices.
Fly tying as therapy for military service personnel with upper arm and hand injuries involving paralysis of the arm and hand or prosthetics is not a new procedure. William Blades, a noted fly tyer in the World War II era, taught fly tying to several hundred wounded Marines and soldiers at the Great Lakes Naval Hospital during that war. While Mr. Blades started teaching fly tying as recreation for the servicemen, it was soon shown that the procedures used in tying fishing flies aided these men to gain more use of the fine motor skills in their injured arms and hands.
The fly tying classes are incredible because they help out with those who may have concentration problems or fine motor skills, problems they be dealing with. Fly tying can help out with that, but other than that, just fly tying is an awesome way to sit down and spend time with your peers and veterans.
They're a great help. One, I have a TBI from my injury, so I'm not. My motor functions were kind of off when I came back. Now they're progressively getting a little better at a time. It's real helpful that way. It got me out among other veterans. I got used to being around people again, something I wasn't used to for quite a while. And being around someone who's showing me how to make something that's pretty much art, it's truly wonderful.
When I first started trying to tie ties, it was virtually impossible. It took me a long time to do very menial tasks, but the reward is worth it, and it's what keeps you going, and it's what keeps you coming back, and it's the excitement of being with the guys, and the excitement of the camaraderie that goes with it.
And that's a pretty nice fly. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's very good, very good, very good.
The outings, the events, the fishing events, the things that we do in the field, of course, are the frosting on the cake. But the cake is the program, and the program is built around the classroom environments. It's all about our volunteers going to the various hospitals, that are located around the country where we have programs, and working with the staff at those hospitals to introduce our program to the disabled veterans and the wounded warriors and teach them the skills of being a fly fisherman. We teach them the fly fishing 101. We teach them how to tie flies, teach them how to build rods. We just started a program where we're teaching them how to build their own leaders. So you put all of this together and it builds a tremendous amount of interest in the program that then translates to being a better fly fisherman. It's just all part of the program. I emphasize the program over the events. And the events, of course, are important, but the program, the classrooms, and all of that goes before.
Unique aspect of our classes has been to develop a rod building competition where it's first and foremost a rod building class, and we teach participants how to put together a rod from a blank and from cork grip, and how to wrap all of the furls and how to finish the rods off. And the classes take about 2 to 3 months to build the rod and have it perfected. And so then we turn it into a competition where the top 9 individuals in 3 classes, so there's 3 in each of the 3 classes, and pick the best in each of the 3 classes of beginners, intermediate, and advanced. And then they get to go fishing with their rod on one of our events. It started off with only 20 or 25 rods being built, and now we're up to 300 rods being built. And it's just wonderful to see that catch on and the excitement in the individual programs about we can do this too.
In Southern California, we have very little water, and what other countries would call a creek, we call a river, a stream, and the fish are not of a huge size. So what I've done with this particular rod, I went and I asked, well, what can I do that will match up with the type of fishing? And this is a 2-weight. Now, a 2-weight is a rather small rod compared to the rods that normally used for fly fishing and all. But this allowed me to apply some of the things that I have been learning, and that's an inlay of epoxy on the rod to where you can build the rod handle and put a design into it using the feathers that we use for tying flies. And then you also go up to the end where you connect the rod to the other piece right here. And what there is a feather inlaid here, and there's also another feather inlaid on the other piece, and that's how you put it together so that the guides are lined up. When you want to build a rod and you want a PCU in it, this is the next step to go. This is the only way.
Okay, we had the National Rod Building tournament, and actually I won 3rd place with this. It was in my division. I couldn't think of a better thing to put on it. It would be a Purple Heart, you know. So I used a Purple Heart stamp and then surrounded it with feathers, and then I machined all the this is actually Purple Heart wood, and machined all of that and put it together. And we've had a lot of great participations from the volunteers, and they've been a great help in teaching us how to do this stuff, so that's great.
I don't know about you, but every time I tie a fly, I remember the last big fish I caught with that fly. So I understand full well the kind of magnifying, multiplying impact that that fly tying or rod building has on each of these individuals.
And it's like a full circle. If you get a guy that ties his own fly, builds a rod, and then goes out and fish and catches a fish, that's a pretty neat thing. It's really fulfilling and a sense of accomplishment.
To find out more about these fun and educational classes, as well as the Healing Waters program, please visit www.projecthealingwaters.org.